If you're in South India right now, you know exactly what we're talking about. Heavy rain. In this explainer, we're going to break down the complex weather systems that are causing all of this. So let's get right to it. The big question on everyone's mind is, why is so much rain pouring down? What's really behind this intense and widespread rainfall that so many of us are seeing? All right, to really understand what's happening, you can't just, look up at the clouds. We have to zoom way out. There are several huge weather systems all interacting at once, kind of like these giant gears turning in a machine. So let's break down the key players. And you might be surprised, but this whole thing actually starts pretty far from home. The first piece of the puzzle, it's a low-pressure area that's getting its act together way over in the South China Sea. Think of this thing like a giant engine that's just starting to pull in all this moisture and energy from the air around it. Okay, so that's system number one. Now let's move a little closer. The second key system is an atmospheric circulation that's just been hanging out, kind of lingering over the Andaman Sea. And this one's important because it's already loaded with moisture and it's sitting in the perfect spot to influence our weather. And then there's a third piece. Right over the mainland itself, we've got a couple of other active circulations spinning away over areas like Vidarbha and near Uttar Pradesh. These are like wild cards. They stir things up, making the whole atmosphere really unstable, and that helps fuel all the action we're seeing down south. So, okay, we've got these three different systems, right? One in the South China Sea, one over the Andamans, and a couple over the mainland. The big question is, how do they all connect? Well, let's follow the moisture and see how these big picture drivers turn into the soaking rain we're getting right now. The main character in this whole story is something called the cross-equatorial westerlies. Now, that sounds complicated, but the best way to picture it is, imagine a massive invisible river of moisture flowing in the sky. Seriously, an atmospheric river. And it's getting pulled all the way from the southern hemisphere, right across the equator, straight towards that low-pressure engine we talked about in the South China Sea. Okay, so you've got this massive river of moisture on the move. Where does it go? Well, it gets funneled into what's called a north-south trough. If the westerlies are the river, then this trough is like a superhighway for weather. It's channeling all that wind and moisture, pointing it directly from inland Karnataka and sending it straight down through the heart of Tamil Nadu. And the result? What happens when you point an atmospheric river down a weather superhighway? You get exactly what we're seeing: widespread, heavy, convective rainfall. This isn't just a local shower, it's creating thunderstorms across pretty much the whole of South India, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and even into Maharashtra. Okay, so that's the why. Now let's get to the what. Let's dive into the detailed forecast and see what you can expect in your specific area over the next 24 hours. All right, if you're in Kerala or Karnataka, you're in for widespread rain. The really heavy stuff is going to be along the coast and especially up in the western Ghats. You know how it works. Those mountains just squeeze all that moisture out of the air. And even if you're inland, say in Bangalore, you're still looking at a good bit of moderate rain. Now let's shift east over to Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. The Rayalaseema region is going to keep seeing some pretty significant rain. And for folks in Hyderabad, yeah, you can expect widespread showers to be a part of your day too. And now for Tamil Nadu, which is, right in the bullseye for all this moisture. We're talking about the entire southern part of the state, from Kanyakumari all the way up to Dindigul. You guys are set for more moderate to heavy showers. All those districts are on alert. And that same pattern just continues as you move north into the central and delta regions. Expect widespread thunderstorms pretty much everywhere there. The coastal spots, though, could get some really intense spells as that system just keeps pulling moisture in from the bay. It's a similar story for the western and northern parts of the state. Thunder showers are going to be pretty common. But there's one area we need to watch very closely today, and that's Dharmapuri. There's a real chance of very heavy rain there, so that's a specific alert to keep in mind. All right, and for everyone in Chennai and the surrounding areas, Tiruvallur, Kanchipuram, Chengalpattu, get ready for a repeat of yesterday. The forecast is for moderate to heavy rain, but you also have that chance of those sudden, really intense downpours popping up in a few spots. So look, this is a huge, widespread event, but it's important to know it's not hitting every single place with the same intensity. There are a couple of exceptions today. If you're in Coimbatore or Tenkasi, you're likely to just see some lighter showers. You guys are kind of in a bit of a rain shadow from this particular setup. Okay, so that's the forecast for today. But what about tomorrow and the week after? Let's zoom out again and look at the bigger picture for the coming weeks, because this whole weather pattern, it's about to change in a big way. Let's walk through the sequence of events. First, in the next couple of days, a whole new storm system is going to form back over in the South China Sea. Then, around September 22nd, you'll see it move into the Bay of Bengal and really power up. And here's the key part. Once that storm moves through, probably by the end of September, it's going to clear the board, so to speak. It'll finally allow the southwest monsoon to begin its retreat. And all of that is just setting the stage for the main event for this region, the arrival of the northeast monsoon, which we're expecting around the middle of October. So, all this crazy late season activity, it really leads us to the most important question of all, right? The one that matters for the next few months. After such a wild and wet end to the southwest monsoon, what does it tell us about the upcoming northeast monsoon? Is this a sign of a good, healthy season with steady rains? Or does all this instability mean we're in for a more volatile and unpredictable season ahead? That right there is the big question, and we are all going to be watching very, very closely.